In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about packages in R. So R as a language has a lot of built-in functions, right? And there's a lot that you can do with just base R. But R is also an open source programming language, and that means that people can make new additions by building and uploading packages that other people can then download onto their computer, onto their version of R. So we're going to talk a little bit about one package in particular that we're going to use a lot. It's called tidyverse. So the tidyverse package, you might think of as like a package of packages because it contains a bunch of different packages. And a lot of packages that you'll download are technically packages of packages too. But tidyverse in particular has a lot of packages in it. The most notable that we'll use is called ggplot2. There's also a package called dplyr that we'll use. There's a few others that we'll kind of use here and there that we may not just name explicitly though. So the first thing you want to do if you haven't used a package before is to install that package. And you can do that by running install.packages, and then in quotation marks you can list the package that you want to install. So I recently updated my version of R, so I actually have not installed tidyverse yet on this since I've updated R. So every time you update R, you do have to install your packages again. So I'm going to do this in real time so you can see what this is going to look like. You'll notice that there's a bunch of crazy stuff that's going to happen, and hopefully it doesn't stop you at a weird point and give you an error message. Hopefully we just make it through smoothly. But yeah, it's going to take anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. Hopefully if you have a good connection, it shouldn't take too long. These are all the packages inside tidyverse that are installing, by the way, right? So when I said it's a package of packages, this is what I mean. There is a ton of packages in here. And it looks like everything has downloaded successfully. So once you get to the bottom, if you see something that looks like this, it says that the downloaded packages are in and then lists something on your computer. That means that you're good. The stop sign will go away, meaning that it's done working. If there's still a stop sign there, it means that it's not done yet. So don't click on anything. Don't try to do extra stuff. Wait for it to finish, or manually click the stop button if it's taking an extraordinarily long time to finish. Like if it's taking, I'd say like more than 3 minutes, that's probably not a good sign. Okay, now every once in a while, folks are going to have errors. I say every once in a while, like pretty much every semester, there's always a few students who run into problems installing packages, especially something like tidyverse. So a common problem that you might encounter is it says that some specific package, like XML2, did not install correctly. So if that happens, what I would do is come up here and install that specific package that said it didn't install correctly, and see if you can just get it to install all by itself. And if it's downloaded successfully, then go back and try to install tidyverse. Sometimes you go through like a rabbit trail of you try to install the package that didn't load, and then it says, well, some other package that it needs didn't load or is needed in order to download this, right? So you might have to follow a rabbit trail of a few packages, but hopefully that solves the problem. If that doesn't solve the problem, you can just let me know. You can let one of us know in office hours or on a lab day, and we'll see if we can help you. Or if you don't want to deal with it, just go to RStudio Cloud, and you shouldn't have any package installation issues there. All right, now if you are in RStudio Cloud, you do still have to install packages. It's just that you shouldn't have an error. But the first time you use a package, make sure it's installed first. All right. So let's talk about what it means to install a package on your computer. It means that if you're working on a personal computer, if you go to your R folder, there's going to be a subfolder called Win Library, and you're going to find the packages that you've installed on your computer inside that folder. So that's what it means. It's literally installing on your computer somewhere. That also means that you don't have to be connected to the internet when you use that package. That's why you're installing it, you're librarying it, all the information is there, right? So again, the other reason that you have to install packages is because R isn't going to come with all the packages, right? You're not going to use all the packages that anyone's ever made. You get to choose packages to install that you might want to use. Okay, one other note before I move on here. At the very top of this, you might see a little warning message about RTools. You don't need RTools unless you're literally going to build a package for other people to use. I'm going to guess that that's probably not true for you, so you can ignore that warning messages. Warning messages do not necessarily mean a problem. It's just letting you know something that you might want to know. In this case, you don't need to worry about this one. Okay. So I might be getting ahead of myself, but you might have seen this tutorial already where we talked about using ggplot. So ggplot2 is a package inside ggplot. And I'm going to try to use a ggplot function here. And let me try to use diamonds. That's in the ggplot2 package. Equals price. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I have tidyverse, everything is good, I'm ready to make a plot. And then you're going to get this error message that says it could not find function ggplot. So you will almost surely see that error message at some point this semester. Whenever you see that, it means that you haven't what we call libraried the package that it's in yet. So you only have to install a package once, but every time you use a function from that package or you need to use a data set that's stored inside that package, you have to library the package. Think of librarying as kind of like opening the app on your phone, right? So you can install the app and you need to install it at least once, but every time you use it, you have to open the app. And we're going to assume that every time you close RStudio, the app is closing too. So in order to use the app or something in it, make sure that you library the app. So for tidyverse in particular, it's going to look like this. Don't worry about these extras, by the way. You don't have to worry about it. And now that you've libraried the package, you should be able to run a function involving ggplot. Okay, I always encourage folks to leave the library functions at the top of their script. So most of the time you're not going to be using more than one package, maybe sometimes you'll use 2 or 3. Always put them at the top of your script and remind yourself to run them whenever you close RStudio and come back to this work later. All right, 2 or 3 quick notes just about using ggplot. There's some common errors that you're going to come across. The first one is leaving a parenthesis out, especially on that first line. It's going to happen a lot. So RStudio is really helpful with some of this. It will oftentimes, not always, let you know if something looks wrong in your code, if it looks like it's not going to run as it is. So notice those errors, hover over them, pay attention to them. But let's say I try to run this anyway. Notice in this case that the command didn't run, and that sideways caret is not showing up, meaning that it still thinks that the argument is open. It still thinks that I'm not finished writing code because I haven't closed a parenthesis. So whenever that happens to you, I would encourage you to try to close a parenthesis, and then it probably will not run correctly, but at least now you can run it again. So you can fix the code and then try running it again. Another common error is missing a plus sign, or maybe you have an extra plus sign. So you have a plus sign, but it's not connecting to anything. You're going to get the same problem that we just saw. It doesn't think you're done. Just type something like a closed parenthesis, kind of close out the argument, and then fix it and try again. Last thing, let's say that you don't use the right case. So this variable is called price with a lowercase p, but if I try to use price with a capital P, it's going to give an error message. It's going to say that price is not found. So always pay attention to case sensitivity, pay attention to spelling. That's always important. It has to be exactly case sensitive as well. Okay, so hopefully that's enough to get you started. You will probably encounter other errors too, but just do your best, ask for help if you need it, and try to be a conscientious learner as you're working with code for the first time.